Are you thinking about buying or selling a home in the Bay Area in July 2024? Have you been hearing different articles that the prices may be going down, or maybe you haven't been seeing many articles at all? However, moving forward in summer, I got a few tips that you should have whether deciding to buy or sell, depending on your own situation. My name is Spencer Sue, and I have a real estate team out in the Bay Area. We cover the entire Bay Area. In the last 5 years, we helped over 250 people with their moves. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, work with a trusted expert like us to go over a game plan to help solve your goals, but also help you find the best home with the best deals. Now, let's get into it. I'm going to be sharing with you all the activity for the month of June. So you can see across the board, I have actually all of the stats. Alameda County, Contra Costa County, San Francisco County, San Mateo County, Santa Clara County, single family condos and townhomes as a median. You can see it's been pretty flat, modest increase. Now we're going to be breaking down by each of the individual counties because not all counties are having the same impact and the same result. But you can see in general, it has a slight increase. Now we're talking about very slight. If you look at May, it was 1.365. If you look at now June, it's 1.375. So we're talking about what, $10,000, so less than 1% increase during this time. So it's been pretty consistent. It's been very consistent. Now, not all counties have done this well. Some counties are already declining, and we're going to be talking about some of the possible reasons why. At the same time, we're also going to go a little bit of the forecasting side, what you could probably expect. If you have been going to open houses or you have been making offers, keep this in mind. These are numbers from June, which are closings or basically offers accepted pretty much up until end of May or early June. So the numbers in July, which we don't obviously have yet, will be the numbers reflected from the June time, which at that point spring season has already been over. Now, before we go over all of the individual specifics, I want to kind of give you a few things of what you may expect moving forward. There's kind of some counter points. Now, if you take a look at the general stock market has continued to do very, very well. If you look at the S&P market, the general S&P has gone up 22% over the last year. If you compare that for this last month, it has increased about 3.63%. So in general, people are doing better just by not doing anything, quite frankly, in the stock market at the moment. Interest rates have also declined in the last month. You can see the median at that time, or the average, was about 7% in the beginning of June. Now it's at 6.86%. So it has been a slight improvement that has helped people buy. Now, why am I about to potentially share with you? I think that the home prices will drop at least slightly for the summertime. Now, it may come back in the fall. We will see. And that is because right now we have a record number of travelers. Record number of travel expected during long 4th of July holiday period. This is a record number across the entire summer. We got the Olympics in Paris. There are so many people going to Europe right now because of the strength of the dollar. A lot of people are also traveling and using that money overseas, whether they're going to Japan. I know a lot of people are going there. They're going to Europe. The euro relative to the dollar is very, very favorable. So a lot of people are going to places outside of the country, and they're usually spending a couple of weeks to over a month. I have many clients that are going back to India for at least a month plus. And so with a lot of people distracted, quite frankly, with the nice weather, living up the summer and things like that, they are less buyers in the market. Now, that is very, very important because a lot of it is supply and demand. Supply is still pretty good. We'll talk about that momentarily. But in general, demand will drop off because a lot of people are just out and about. I normally don't take long vacations or trips on the summertime just because I got a lot of clients that are actively looking, but I'm sure you will probably have many other vacations. Leave in the comments below if you're taking a vacation, and if so, to where and for how long. Now let's take a look at some of the general stats of the overall market, and I'm going to go over by individual county so you can see some of the things. And as you can see, this is all real time. I'm doing this live versus other people maybe showing you some really old data, old information. Let's take a look at a couple of things. Number of new listings each month. This is a really good thing because I'm going to share with you in the last 3 years, just so you have a level of sense of comparisons of how each of the months have been. So let me even pull June to June of, let's just say 2021. So you can compare, like, how is the number of new listings relative to before. So if you take a look at June, so June is over now, right? So you can see June numbers are quite a bit higher than last year. Last year, to be fair, we've had some of the lowest amount of transactions, but also no lowest amount of new listings that has been in the last basically 30 years. So you can see the numbers were quite a bit higher than last year. Now, May was a huge month, and so was April. Take a look at these big jumps from the previous months or for the previous year. Now, they are much less than what we had in 2022, 2021, but to be fair, those are very, very busy times, very, very busy years. So they are less than those times. We're not gonna get back to these times, I don't think, for many, many years. We're hopefully not going to go back to these times because these were record low times, but we're probably going to be hovering somewhere in between, probably a little bit closer to what we see of last year than what we see of the previous years. But to be fair, the numbers are still good, right? In all these counties alone, there's 5,500 homes that have come on the market. So something to be mindful of and something just to be okay with, just in terms of the reality of things. Now let's take a look at the median days to sell across the board. Typically, things do move pretty quickly, but you can see the median days to sell has been a little bit longer than previous months. You can see it's about 12 days. Now, it's not 12 weeks. It's not multiple weeks. It's just 12 days. But it's still not too bad. It doesn't get much shorter, as you can see, than 8-9 days because then they will have a weekend. But generally, they're not getting too much longer than this either. They kind of fluctuate because this will get into the extension of the 2 weekends. So unless there's a lot of holidays, which you can see is typically during the December, November time, generally you're not going to see too many long days for the medium sell date, just because you don't have too many holidays in effect, and you have plenty of buyers that are still out there. Because keep in mind, just because there's 3 people that make an offer versus 10, they will still have an offer deadline. There's no reason to have another weekend. Usually if they have multiple weeks, at that point they probably priced it pretty high, and so they're really fishing for a specific number. So outside of that, then things will continue to move generally pretty quickly. Now let's take a look at the medium sales price, and let's break it down now. Let's break it down by individual counties, so you can see. So let's just start first with Santa Clara County. So you can see, are there specific counties that are doing better than others? Are there some counties that are actually declining? So take a look at this, Santa Clara County. Interesting enough, June numbers are actually lower than what they were in May. So this is a decent decline. So it's about, the June numbers now are about 1.655. The May numbers are about 37,000 plus. So that's equivalent to about 2%. So that's something. So that's something to be mindful of. That there's been a decline in a very, very competitive market. Now, every city, every home will be specific. I will show with you. Take a look at this. While home prices have declined, take a look at the sell price to the list price ratio. You can see that this number is still higher, 106%. So while you saw a decline of 2% of the sales price, you can still see the result is still 106% above the list price. So do not get tricked that the market is going up 6% every month. Understand that the actual market has declined by 2%, but they are still listing homes conservatively less than 6% where they would probably be. So that is on an average. Just keep that in mind. Next, let's take a look at other counties. So let's take a look at San Mateo County. So San Mateo County, in terms of a mix, you can see May was a really, really strong number. You can see, wow, quite a bit of turnaround in June. So this starts to lead you with different questions, right? If San Mateo and Santa Clara County has both dropped, and you saw on general, like the median is a certain way, what areas have done better? Take a look at this. Alameda County, interesting. June numbers in the county for all these assets. Now, I didn't break it up by single family condos and townhomes, but you can see in general, Alameda County has done pretty well, right? A very, 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 very slight increase, but you can see the last couple of months have been pretty consistent. Now, if you look at Contra Costa County, let's see the result of this. Contra Costa County wise, you can see there's a slight pullback in June. But the numbers are only slightly off from what you see of May and April. So across the board and across pretty much all the areas, it's been pretty consistent. And last but not least, San Francisco, right? So San Francisco, as a medium, is actually the one that has actually increased. You are probably waiting, wait a second, if if San Mateo County, if Santa Clara County, if Contra Costa County were all declining slightly, what was the only thing that brought it up? Contra Costa County was kind of break, or Alameda County was kind of break even. But San Francisco, interesting, has done well. 1.465. This is a increase. Now, San Francisco has not performed as well versus other counties throughout the years, but maybe things are changing. Right? This is a really, really interesting sign. Now, I want to also point out there is a big difference between this condos, townhomes market. So I want to share with you because a lot of people that are tuning in are trying to buy a single family house. So if you're trying to buy a single family house, let me share with you some general stats and so that you can see some of these trends yourself. So if you look at Santa Clara County, the median sales price of the county itself is reduced now to 1.95. It was at a peak at 2038 last month. Okay, so that's something you want to be mindful of. Let's take a look at San Mateo. The median now in San Mateo County has dropped to 1.97. It was, look at this number before. It was at a whopping $2.3 million before. Now it has dropped to 1.97. I would say there's probably some very, very large homes and very expensive homes that sold during this time. But at the same time, there's been a big cool off. Now next, let's look at San Francisco. We saw San Francisco of the blended assets do really, really well. Let's take a look at San Francisco. The single family has not done actually that well, as you can see. So the only thing that has done well is potentially those mostly those condos. There's not that many townhomes there, so that's the only way that the average numbers can actually be better than before. Because you can see the single family numbers have also declined. Interesting time for those that are trying to get into a condo. Let's take a look at San Mateo County. If you look at San Mateo County, you can see, sorry, not San Mateo, we already saw that. If we look at Alameda County for this single family price, you saw in previously single family or the condos, townhomes, and single family were relatively flat. But if you look at single family, also declined now to 1.35. And the last but not least, we'll take a look at Contra Costa County so you can see this impact. So Contra Costa County single family has also had a slight decline. Interesting, right? So all of the single family in every county has actually declined. And but the condo townhome market side of it has actually increased a decent amount versus the previous months. And so this leads to a few possible reasons. Number one, the aspect of people competing for single family, did that kind of wane off? Like, are people moving instead of buying there? They're settling or competing against more affordable options like a condo or townhome. That's one consideration. Or is there any sort of more supply on the new single family, and that's been an impact? I think it's probably the first. I think some people are saying, look, I am tired of renting. We do want to get into our first place. My budget is X. I can choose to go far, or I can choose not to go far, and I will try to figure out what options will work. I'm not that specific about single family. And so they may then say, look, my budget can't afford a single family. Let's take a look at this gap. If you're buying in Santa Clara County, and let's just talk about median price for single family as a recap. This median, this is Santa Clara County. This includes like a Morgan Hill. But a median is 1.95 million for a single family. So if you're buying a condo, the median for a condo is significantly less. We're talking about less than half, 827. Right? So you can see the condo market has increased. So condos, don't say condos do not increase. That's a lie. They definitely increase, as you can see. Townhomes, on the other hand, have been relatively flat, but the median townhomes at 1.275. So you can see that there are choices and balances that people have to make in terms of what will be the best options for them. And so this is just something very, very important, something to be mindful of as people kind of reassess. They may kind of delay their single family search. They may buy into some of these other assets that are more affordable. You saw the condo market increasing and doing better, but that is part of the reason why you see what you see. But the question is this a general downturn? Is this going to be flattening? Of course, it's a little bit early. We're only in 1st of July as of this recording today. All of this is in real time, and a lot of people are traveling. So we will see. I don't expect too much pricing growth right now. I expect probably either flattening or a decline for the summertime. And then the question next is what will happen in the fall. I don't know. We'll see the activity then, and we'll know after really Labor Day weekend. So if you're a buyer, what does that mean? If you're a buyer, this isn't an opportunity if you're not traveling. And if you are traveling, the transactions still happen every week. You can still make offers and get your offers accepted while you're on vacation. We can always talk about how do you structure that accordingly. It doesn't really impact anything, right? So you can always still actively look when you are in town. I can meet with you on the weekdays. We can go on the weekends. Things turn on every week. So stay around and be active if you're actively looking, because you're then competing with less people. But if you're a seller, you got to level set your expectations a little bit, right? The growth is no longer happening. So if you saw some of your neighbors sell for record highs in April, May, you're probably not going to hit those numbers today, right? The reality doesn't mean you're not going to hit those numbers. It's going to be a little bit less. It's still going to be a good number, but it's not going to be these record numbers. Because keep in mind that those numbers in May of this year are all-time records. So they are higher than ever. So yes, you're a little bit off the record highs, but it still can be used to accomplish your next goal, whether you're trying to retire, move out of the area, upsize, downsize, whatever it may be. Just be mindful of your whole goals to begin with. So if you found this valuable, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share with any of your friends that want the inside source as to what is really happening with the local Bay Area market relative to what's going on in the general market. As you can see, stock market is still doing very well. Interest rates are declining slightly, and prices are declining a little bit slightly as mainly a lot of people are traveling on vacation. Give me a call or text. Let's go over our game plan, 408-547-4590. See you next one. Bye.